Good day and welcome to another Spotlight series on behalf of the Mayor's Office of Black Male Engagement. My name is Jack Drummond and I'm the Director of the Office of Black Male Engagement, or OBME as we affectionately like to be called. And today Spotlight will be co-hosted by Octavius Blount, who is the coordinator for the Office of Black Male Engagement. We're very excited for this particular spotlight, and a spotlight is where we highlight the contributions of melanin-enriched men around the city in terms of what they do and what they do for this particular demographic. Today, our spotlight is about education, and we're going to have Octavius open it up and introduce our guest.
Okay. So Vincent Cobb, among all the things that you do, if you could tell me a little bit about yourself, like what would your friends say about you?
I think my friends would definitely say I'm ambitious, right? About
Okay.
passionate about. I'm a mission to give back, serve, uplift Black and Brown communities that have historically been underserved, and really making sure they have voice and agency, especially as it relates to city politics, what's going on in our education system, and their own general well-being and welfare in their communities.
Okay.
All right. So, with that said, that sounds like it's a good lead into what you do. So, tell us a little bit about what you do, about the organization that you represent, and some things that are going on here and beyond the city of Philadelphia.
Sure. I serve as the CEO of the Fellowship, Black Male Educators for Social Justice, and our work is to bring more positive Black male role models into classrooms as teachers. Nationally, Black men make up 2% of the U.S. teacher workforce. Here in Philadelphia, it's just about 5%. And so that severe underrepresentation has implications on the academic success of our children, namely Black boys and young men in public schools throughout the city. And so there's growing research out there that shows Black boys and young men are 39% more likely to be invested in their education, go to college when they've been impacted by a highly effective Black male educator. And so I was personally impacted by a Black male educator that changed my trajectory when I was in 7th grade. And so I am very inspired by this work, as our mission metric is to add 1,000 Black male educators to Philadelphia public schools by the year 2025.
Got it. So, you talked a little bit about impact on this particular demographic. Can you tell me what your thoughts are around how and why education is important for Black men in the city, or for melanin enrichment in the city?
Sure. I think the schools and education is the anchor institution in every community, and we believe that it is the key to generating wealth in our communities, really helping our kids fulfill their dreams and their goals and aspirations to better themselves, also create better life conditions for their families and those in their own community. And so we see education as central, and schools as the battleground for the long history of inequity in our country, where we see certain schools have the resources to be successful and other schools don't. And so it's very unfortunate in our school system at large in the United States. It's a have and have not system. And so it is organizations like ours that try to corral the resources and the supports and even the representation that's necessary in the classroom for our Black boys and young men to feel valued and wanting to become what they see. You can't be what you can't see. And so more positive Black male role models and influences in education, where kids spend the majority of their day, is extremely important into the trajectory of our overall communities here in Philadelphia.
Before Octavius ends us out by asking you about your wisdom, could you just tell us why, and engage our audience perhaps, as to why Black men in particular aren't really as attracted to the education field? Why is there this intense push? You talked about why there's an intense push to get Black men in the classroom because of representation, that sort of thing. But why aren't Black men attracted to education, especially the K-12 world in particular?
Sure. I think it's a historic issue. I think, when we think about Brown versus the Board of Education and during the Civil Rights Movement, there was a lot of shifts when there were integration into schools. That meant that leadership that did not have the right mindset about race were moving into leadership positions and pushed Black teachers out. And so historically, we have not dealt with that problem. And so now we see the low representation, and why it has an impact in schools and men don't see themselves as a part of education or really attracted to it is because historically we have been the ones shut out of it. So when we look at black boys, high disciplinary rates, expulsion, low attendance, largely because too the profession has been feminized, right? So it's a predominantly white female profession. I mean, the research bears that out and shows it. And so when boys and black boys and young men don't see themselves as a part of that system or one that's welcoming, they try to find other places where they feel supported. And sometimes those lead to choices that are not so great, and sometimes they redirect their energies in places that will propel them to be where they want to be by connecting with the positive influences in their, and mentors in their own community. And so there has not been a real space for black boys and young men really called out. And so we hope to create that space through the work that we do every day.
Right. Hence why we're so grateful for your organization.
Okay, now as we end, I would just like to ask for, I know Jack said piece of wisdom. If you can provide us with some advice, the young brothers that are listening right now, advice on their trajectory as a black man and how they can navigate this world that we live in.
Sure. I think with a city like Philadelphia, there's so many opportunities to get involved and find networks of brothers who are positive and doing the right thing. That is going to be key to success because that is what inspires us as a community of black men, is that we see others really pursuing their dreams and passion and doing something constructive. We think that the lack of sometimes role models that we find ourselves in can lead us down pathways that we don't intend. And sometimes we get caught up in the wrong crowds. But we hope that through organizations like ours, we have our annual National Black Male Educators Convening that is coming up October 12th to the 14th. It is open to high school students, college students, folks who are looking to get into education, black men, and also current black male teachers. And not just only black males, but also everyone who believes in teacher equity and inclusion and believe that we should have more positive influences in our classroom. And so that is a place to start. So you can join us down there. We have a lot of great speakers coming. Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, Dr. Chris Emden, John King will be returning this year. Talib Kweli, he will be joining us this year. So find your space because, you know, there are a lot of men that are ready and willing to mentor and to help you along your way. So hopefully you can be with us on October 12th to the 14th at the downtown Sheraton Hotel.
All right. Final question for those who are listening and watching. Is there a way for them to get in contact with you or get more information about your organization, a website perhaps?
Sure. We have a website. It's fellowshipbmec.org. And we also have social media. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. If you type in Fellowship BMEC or Black Male Educators, you can also find some of our work on YouTube. If you type in Fellowship Black Male Educators with our suit up, show up stuff that we just did throughout the city, 13 sites where we were greeting students on the first day of school. Many men, one charge, to really show a positive representation of other black males. So that's where we are. And yeah, you can all find us again, October 12th through the 14th at downtown Sheraton Hotel.
All right, good brother. Well, thank you so much.
Yep.
We really appreciate your time and your effort and just being here and really offering yourself as a resource in your organization. We are really, we're floored by the work that you all are doing, and we're happy to be in partnership with you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.